You're tuned into Dr. Ralph Sepp Sr. International Ministries with Dr. Ralph Sepp Sr. and Lady Catherine Sepp. Come feel the power of the Holy Spirit.
These spoils of the wicked is reserved for the righteous, and this applies to all those which refuse to serve God while the blood is running warm in their bodies. Instead, they rather enjoy all this wicked world has to offer.
And you know, Lady Catherine Sepp, there is nothing that the world can give us that is greater than total salvation. There is nothing that the world can give us that is greater than everlasting life. Let's think about it, Lady Catherine Sepp, and let's look at it from a mathematical standpoint. You know, let's think about it, Lady Catherine Sepp, from a mathematical standpoint. Look at it like this. You know, in this world, we're given 70 to 75 birthdays, if you're lucky. And when I say the word lucky, I do mean that loosely. I mean if you're blessed, because God controls who lives or dies. Your expiration date is all in the hands of the Master. Everybody has an appointed time, according to Solomon. Everyone has an appointed time that you have to be here to fulfill your purpose. And why would you want to barter 70 to 75 years of deities, 70 to 75 years of birth dates, 70 to 75 years of a good time for all eternity, and pay for it for the rest of eternity? This is our message today, because far too many people fail to realize that their souls are at stake.
Most times, these wicked individuals have an abundance of luxuries, including money, fame, influence, and they determine the course of the lives of many which resides on earth. The agenda they promote are usually unbalanced, unethical, and unrighteous.
And moreover, unreasonable. You know, the thing about it, you know, in their own rights, they're like many gods on earth. You know, there's a saying, heaven on earth. Many of these individuals carry the influence of many gods on earth because they want to control the lives of other people on earth. And in many respects, they are able to pull it off. But we all know that the Almighty is in control. I tell you one thing, it is a good thing that God has the last say in all matters, Lady Catherine Sepp. So a lot of these people, and Lady Catherine Sepp, I totally agree, they have the best of everything. They have not just the best of everything, they have multiple things of everything. When they wake up in the morning, if they feel as if they want something, it's right there at their fingertips. If they feel I want to take a trip to France, they can do it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying or penalizing anyone for having money or penalizing anyone for having riches. But God gives you these things so you can help others, or you will be hard-pressed to pass by somebody homeless and you ride in your brand new Benz. So, you know, men and women of God, what we're saying, just include God in the picture, you know, because when you include him in the picture, he will open you up. And the things that you consider blessings, it will wind up being more great for you. You know, there's this movie with Ebenezer Scrooge. And that movie is based lightly on what I'm saying. You know, he had all these different riches and stuff like that, but he had no happiness. So once he was able to establish that it is better to give than receive, he found everlasting peace, even though it is just a movie.
Many people suffer by the policies that the wicked promote, and many children go to bed hungry, and the elderly and the disabled go without life essentials like medications, while they bash in the sun drinking lemonade while they play golf all day at the golf course.
Because, you know, they have that ability to just relax that way. And with wealth, they want to propel wealth because they understand that money is power. So when you go from a biblical standpoint, which we are going from a biblical standpoint, when you come from a biblical standpoint, God will easily tell you money is the root to all evil. Because money, the thing about money, those individuals who have it try to figure out how to keep it because they understand that they can will and deal in the world greater than someone who does not have it. Therefore, the world is always split into the haves and the have-nots.
Many times, they are the ones who make life difficult for those being unrighteously persecuted, day in and day out.
And I totally agree, Lady Captain Seth. They do make life difficult for those individuals who are unrighteously prosecuted and persecuted for no reason, just to propel and just to maintain their wicked agenda.
Their ancestors is a rich man, which ignored Lazarus while he laid homeless and persecuted outside the gates of the kingdom, and their reward will be identical to that of the rich man in the Bible, yes, which now is in sorrows and torment.
And who said that? The rich man said it himself. The rich man was able to, when he found himself in Sheol, he asked Abraham, can I go back? And can I warn my 6 brothers not to come to this place? Because they had lived the same lifestyle that he lived. He had men servants, women servants, gold, silver, platinum, everything that the world had to offer, he had it at his fingertips. So, you know, men and women of God, he understood when he found himself in torments all those years, forever and an eternity. Do you understand and realize he is still in that same predicament? So for the years that he lived on earth, he bartered it. He bartered it basically for eternity.
Many of the righteous will be like Lazarus, enjoying peace in Abraham's bosom. The Lazarus effect is repeating itself over and over again.
That is true. It is a repeated cycle. This is why this parable was given in the Bible. It shows the dangers. See, we live in a society where we are told to obtain as much riches as possible. We are told to obtain, the more you have, the greater your power structure is. But in that process, far too many people forget who God is. Or better yet, those individuals who do acknowledge that there is a God, they want him to be a microwavable God. A microwavable God, that means that they want to press the button and give him time. The exact same way that they will and deal their influence in the world. This is also the same way they go in and operate the church. They expect even the pastor to bow down to them just because of their hefty donation. The thing about it, men and women of God, God is in control. He is the Almighty and He is the All-Powerful. So therefore, for those individuals who don't realize that, you're definitely out of line. And the Bible is very, very poignant in terms of the richness of individuals. Look at the parable of the young rich prince. He was rich. He had everything that the world had to offer. He had the world at his beck and call. But the thing about it, he did not understand that it is the salvation and the blood of Christ that makes you have everything and makes you free. So he went to Jesus Christ and he asked him, what can I do to serve you, Master? And Jesus said, give all that you have away to the poor. And the young man dropped his head and walked away because he was like, I just can't do that. How many people today feel like I just can't do that? I have to draw a line somewhere. I've worked hard for everything I have. I just can't do that. Men and women of God, therefore we have to understand and keep Jesus Christ in the forefront.
The reward of the wicked will be the same as those of the rich man.
Yes.
And all those which came after him. Many of those that's mocked, laughed at, marginalized, and tortured can look forward to the reward of Lazarus, everlasting life, because God sits high.
Yes, he does.
And looks low.
I bet he do.
God admitted. He heard the moans and cries of his people at the hand of the taskmasters, and that he would send a deliverer. Behold Moses.
So, the Bible is very, very clear that God is aware of the situations and the circumstances that are taking place on earth. And I think it was in the book of Leviticus where he said, I heard the cries and the taskmaster's cruelty to my people the Israelites. And that's when God decided he was going to answer them and send them a deliverer. And behold, he sent Moses. So he hears your cries, men and women of God. That's why we have to be prayerful. And Lady Catherine said, we have to stay prayed up.
Therefore, when you cry out, God is aware of the unrighteousness in which every persecuted individual endures day in and day out.
So if you think about it, the reason that you are persecuted is, first of all, is because Jesus Christ said you would be persecuted. He said that the world hates me, so they will hate you. So if you are falling in these parameters, that means you may be spiritually doing something right. He said that, pick up your cross. That means that you're going to have some days when you are persecuted, marginalized, and set on the side, because the enemy is afraid of the power you have. So I can just tell you, men and women of God, the spoils of the rich and the spoils of the wicked, they are reserved for those of the righteous.